dialogue. And one of the dialogues we have been doing is building bridges, whereby we bring secondary school students, 50 Muslims, 50 Christians in Jos, in Benue, in Taraba, everywhere in the north, to understand. So we do half of the conference in churches and half in the mosque. So many young children, they will say, Muslims, they have never entered the church. Many young Christian children, they have never entered the mosque. So for that, at least for that, you have breaking some things in Nigeria. That, me Christian enter mosque, yes, you can enter mosque. Me Muslim enter church, yes, you can enter church. When the monks from Catherine, St. Catherine monastery in Egypt, they came to Medina during the time of the Prophet. Sunday came, on Sunday, they went to do service. He said, do it in the mosque. The Prophet said, do it in the mosque. And they did their service there. I didn't notice that my president is here. Oga, good morning, sir. Yes, he's my president. My preamble, I call it merit of human kindness. If I were to cover the bottom, we will try to guess what happened here. This is about the famine in Sudan back.
Don't know what.
If you thank
Don't record.
he will add more. If you thank him, you will add more. So it is us.
Check online whether. Yeah,
So,
are you connected? Check the platform. Check the platform. Eh?
Now just look at this.
No, are you watching live?
Who cares now whether this boy
No, leave him for now.
is Muslim or Christian?
This is recording. You are recording, right?
This child, the first thing you say, this is a child. This is a hungry child. But the most significant part.
Check whether you are being online. Then repost it.
What is the most significant part of this picture? Yeah?
This backward.
Continue.
Oh, this is the early one. But I think it's from your phone. Okay, okay, so let me see. I can see I have 6 people online. So I think we are seeing.
The vulture. The vulture. The vulture. What is the vulture waiting for? Exactly. Vulture has no humanity.
Where do you click? You click that link I
It
give.
has no humanity. It is waiting for food.
People
God
are-
have food, but it gets
You are getting.
in God's mercy. Vultures don't kill. They wait for a carcass. As long as the body is moving small, the vulture can just fly. So America is waiting like vulture. This is it. It's waiting. It's waiting.
Waiting for Campan. Nothing. This is waiting.
We have to. I was telling AIT this
But
morning,
other people are online,
we just
so let
have
me
to
see.
do.
But you can see
When
this background.
911
So me, I'm not
happens,
seeing.
the next day.
I'm not thinking this is the link you are using. Share this link.
This link I shared. I just start. I'm gonna share you.
But this is not what is there. This one is different.
And they're all
This link
committed
is different.
to be on the same page with the government.
Okay.
So I was wondering, I said, This is not the time of
It's not
presidency. The presidential
the delay is too much.
justice complete. The president has to take action himself. So
The delay is too much.
is a classic example.
Yeah, I can see.
There was Kevin Carter. Kevin Carter was a top photographer, photojournalist. He took this picture.
But we are not.
One very sad thing
It's
is
not going.
that this child, look at the child, he looks 2 years old, but this child was 5 years old, emaciated by hunger. The child
Because
was
people are calling, too much people. We abuse it here, we abuse it. So we cannot do two things at the same time. People are calling, and everybody is complaining.
Where they give them proteins, etc., so that they can. So the child has no energy whatsoever to even move. This cameraman saw this child, and he took this picture.
That's it.
But
The story Bishop was telling you the other
he
day.
was in a hurry. So the guy hurried to the airport to take his picture and left the child there. He went and published this picture in the New York Times. It was published on 26 March 1993. He won the Pulitzer Prize, one of the biggest, highest prizes in journalism and literature. Pulitzer Prize. So he won it. So one day, there was a conference he was addressing about this picture. Everybody was praising him. Everybody was praising him that, yes, you have done very well, etc., etc. Then somebody asked in that conference, what were you doing when you saw that child? What did you do? So, if you don't have humanity, you will answer inhumanly. He said, oh, as I took the picture, I had a plane to catch and I was in a hurry, so I left. So one member of the audience said, there were two vultures in the picture, and one was behind the camera.
Yes.
Take it. One was behind the camera. Because anybody with humanity will drop the camera and take the shot. Forget about everything. Forget about the plane. Lose the flight. The good news is this child survived. This child survived, according to news. But trauma and that statement of there were two vultures, it haunted Carter. Kevin Carter. It haunted him. It made him realize he was very inhuman. At the end of the day, he couldn't take it and he killed himself. So this is the cycle of life. So the vulture now has her victim. Not the child, but Kevin. If only it will get to Kevin, that is the victim of the vulture. So we all have to understand that yes, we are all victims in this business of life. So the Nigerian humanitarian crisis, we have so many, and journalists should be able to analyze and discuss them. When you talk of conflict, let's take two. Boko Haram is a serious ideological conflict. Farmer and herder, it is an economic conflict. And it has given us internally displaced persons all over. Farmer herder crisis is not limited between Muslim herders and Christian farmers. No. If there is a crisis in Jigawa, where almost everyone is Muslim, and there is farmer herder crisis there, where there is problems in Kano, so just this week, the government is saying they have had that herders are on their way back. The rains have gone, so there is no fodder, no grass, no water in Niger and Mali and Burkina Faso. This is a West African problem. It's not a Nigerian problem. These people have been moving for 1,500 years, or before Jesus. So, if the countries are senseless, crisis will always continue. So, government of Kano now is trying as much as possible to open the ways of these people passing, or because our governments are not serious. For 1,000 years, you have been moving cattle. Everybody has settled cattle, has settled down cattle in the world except us. Every cow in the world is settled down except Nigeria and West Africa. You keep them in one place, their children will go to school, you will get more milk, you will get more meat. Nigeria is not serious when it comes to this kind of thing. Neither is Niger, and nor is Burkina Faso and Mali. If you allow this kind of transhumance up and down, you go south, you go north, you go south, what kind of life is this? Everybody has settled down. America, they settled down 400 years ago. We're still on the road. If not, my Abbas and I, we are Fulanis, we settled down 200 years ago. We left our cows and came down and sat down. Today we're in the city, enjoy it. We went to school. But our cousins are still moving because we don't have a plan. And that movement is what is causing our problem. Settle them down near a water body where there is grass, get milk from them. They fertilize the soil. That's how life is. But we are not well planned. And that is what they don't understand. When Bush is saying there is this problem, is farmer harder, government, the first thing every cow, stay where you are, we are coming to you. Chicken up, if there is no movement of cows, farmers will enjoy their life and herders will enjoy their life. There has to be action by government. Conflict will exist when there is competition over resources. This is small economics. Everybody who reads small economics or level economics knows that the opportunities are limited. And everybody wants that opportunity. And then we go to another analysis is criminality. Now that one, the first one is conflict, one is ideological, one is economic. That's why people, journalists should be the ones to explain that farmer harder is more about land. And the Fulanis, our cousins of Fulanis of the bush.
Are you sending picture online?
Yes.
They
They don't even know how to come as well.
if you
Then criminality,
do
banditry,
a speech online, but
and trafficking, drug trafficking.
I don't understand.
These are
Who want
criminalities.
make speech?
These are things which are done with a
Who is
criminal
which
intent.
person?
Banditry
director?
is criminal. It is
He
not
want to speak.
violence, and it is now economic and social.
But I'm not saying he want to talk to the leaders.
All the victims, they are in Roma.
But I'm more is possible.
And
They
then
agree on
there is
this
another
thing.
crisis, which
See
many
the
people
message
are
we
not
send.
reporting. This Japa business,
Okay, what time?
this Japa business is a crisis
All
of
right.
hopelessness.
I want him to address our agent.
People are hopeless.
No.
He will just say a few words in the agent and
So
make it just if he wants to check it out. Now say when it's ready.
he will speak with you and go ahead and give him the answer. That you will give him permission. But I should just stand by that when it is you just
So hopelessness, Mediterranean
is
crossing,
he following this? The man following this now.
male and
Is he
female,
following?
trying to escape from Africa. Not only Nigeria, every African country, every young person is going north, trying to reach Europe. You know, 200, 300 years ago, the Romans came and caught us and arrested us and abducted us.
What is the
kidnapped
problem
us,
now?
put us on ships.
You are online. People are watching everywhere, and you are not focusing.
By force. Now,
The person we are supposed to focus
by
now.
choice. If that ship will come
Why should you leave this thing and watch phone? And you
Go
know
to Accra
people are watching over.
to say, okay, slave trade is back. Let us go. Do you think the ship will be spacious enough to take these young people? Volunteers, everybody will volunteer.
See, Why?
This is serious.
Bring it up.
So for young people
No.
not to have hope in their own country.
That man is the man you focus.
We
That
are in a
man.
serious
That
matter.
topic.
We are
No,
very,
I'm
very
seeing
serious.
from here now.
When they
I am seeing from here.
Yes, not
of a
Yes, I know,
rubber
but
boat
I want you to focus
in
on
the
this one.
Mediterranean. The white people, the Italians who saved them from the
around
Italian Red Cross, and so they said,
It's okay like this.
the cable is not long.
Yeah, no, it's okay, but we can manage it.
so they said,
No, we can manage it like this.
please look at this. Look at this.
Just manage it.
What the boy said. Young man, they said, what if you are deported? What if they catch you and they take you back? You know, sometimes they arrest them in the sea and they bring them back to Libya or Tunisia or from wherever they take them. The boy said, I will try again. So the interviewer said, what if you die? The boy said, I'm already dead. So I'm already dead. I better die trying than be back in my country. So this is hopelessness. What is it that African governments cannot do to ensure? And it's when you know what is happening in Gambia, Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, all their young people, including Eritrea, Ethiopia, all of them. One Kenyan told one Nigerian, you are very lucky you only have the Sahara to cross to reach Europe. Because in Kenya, you have to cross you have to go to the Indian Ocean, and the Indian Ocean is not connected to Europe. So you have to go around Africa to try to get to Europe. So it's very difficult to go to Europe from East Africa. And you can trek from Kenya, try to trek to Niger to get into Libya. So the Kenyans, the hopeless Kenyans, like our hopeless Nigerians, they are saying, we are lucky. Can you imagine the luck? We are lucky that we have only the Sahara to cross. 90% of these young people die on the road. But because they are not documented, nobody knows them. Nobody remembers except their families. They die on the road. Lack of water, lack of food. The elements, the weather, they die on the road. But nobody knows them. There is no statistic. Nobody cares. So these are conflicts we have, the humanitarian crisis affecting us as Nigerians. So I will talk about peace journalism, which I call humanitarian journalism, making sure that your practice of journalism conforms to the principle of humanity, that you put human life first, not the vulture first. Because that picture was positive to the vulture and negative to the tiger. Humanitarian journalism can be defined very broadly as a production of factual accounts about crises and issues that affect human welfare. Mainstream journalists have long helped to raise awareness and funds for humanitarian crises, as well as provide early emergency warnings and monitor the treatment of citizens. For the ICRC, the International Committee of the Red Cross, I have taught this humanitarian journalism for lots of students, trying to tell them that always you have to consider whatever you are calling. My constituency is journalism, and so I interact more with journalists. The constituency of the pastor, also is
okay. This what is my sweetie? You want it to be scrolling when you are reading, just the way you did for that man in our lady the other time. So what is reading? You need to be following on the screen, on the projector, so that people can be following. Or you put his picture on the screen. So that I need you to be on the no, what I'm saying. Okay.
Humanity means milk of human kindness. It is expected that human beings will be merciful to human beings. So it's a wonder if a human being can take a gun or a machete or a sword or an arrow or a spear and kill another human being. Why? That's principle number one, humanity. Understand that if you kill someone, in the Quran it says it's as if you have killed the whole of humanity. I'm very sure somewhere in the Bible is something like that. Number two is impartiality. It's very difficult in Africa, especially if one of the parties is related to you. It is so difficult. It is so difficult. Neutrality. Fairness is sine qua non in journalism, that you have to be fair. But what if you think you know who is right and who is not? In the Islamic jurisprudence, if the judge, say a judge, is going into the market and he sees two people fighting and he sees the aggressor, he knows the aggressor as a judge. Then tomorrow they are arrested and brought to him in the court. He cannot stand witness. Even though he saw what happened and he knows who was wrong, he has to wait for the evidence to prove it. That is impartiality. That is neutrality. You are not allowed to judge. So if two people are fighting, a journalist is a judge. A journalist is a judge. Independence. In Africa, independence is very tricky for journalists because of government and business interest. I remember
No, I have to bend down. Okay, I'm meant to bring down my head. This is a microphone. It's I'm not supposed to take it away from you.
You see, I belong to the LPN. So corporate cannot attack MTN. So whatever you do, you cannot attack MTN. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? Yes, sir. If you want to do work with comfort, you can't criticize. You know, normally many of the journalists may not belong to MTN, but they are looking for food. So this kind of independence is qualified. We all have to know acquire vested interest. The owner of the newspaper, can you ever attack them? Can ARTV, that is Kano State Television, or can you, Radio Kano, can they attack government of Kano State? No way. FRCN and NTA, can they be critical in reporting federal government activity? No way. But AIT was interviewing me this morning and criticizing me. They're asking me so many questions to put me in trouble with the president. You see? That is the problem of independence. Eh? So better edit it very, very well. If something happens, don't be me. Yeah, thank you. So I'm protected by the Catholic Church. So Nigerian journalism is as I will narrate. We teach in journalism school, when you come to mass communication department in Kano, Kaduna, everywhere, we teach you to say that this business is lucrative. But you look at my boss, Abbas, the years have touched him. He was my president for many, many years. But it doesn't look on him. Does it look on him? No, it doesn't. He looks normal. He looks ordinary, like ordinary president. So it is not lucrative. But we tell you, when you come, you see students in the university, 3 departments get the highest application. 3 departments. Number 1 is medicine for science students. Number 2 is law for social science students. And number 3 is mass communication for art students. These are the highest areas of application in the university. So many students are coming, they want to learn journalism because they want to make money, they want to make a name, they want to make this and that. So we tell them, be unbiased, be bold, be this and that. But when you graduate, you go into the industry, you find vested interest, you find that some media organizations don't even pay you a salary. And then you find that sometimes news is for the highest bidder. Then you find that you struggle for brown envelope more than breaking news. You want to break the envelope. That is the reality of Nigerian journalism. Nigerian journalism has pluses, it has positives. It is creative, it is vibrant, it is innovative, and it is resilient. Because of resilience, that is why we were able to get independence in 1960 without fighting the white people. It was journalism that helped in that fight. Zikiwe, etc., etc. But in Nigerian journalism today, the minuses, the negatives are biased news, fake news, uninformed and unqualified practitioners. Most of the practitioners we have, if you calculate the journalists, our boss, our chairman, our president of Kano NUJ, he knows they tried as much during his time. He spent several years as chairman trying to get quack journalists out of the profession. It's very, very difficult because anybody with a pen and a notebook will claim to be a journalist, and they will go to every conference and report rubbish. And this is the trouble we are having. From 1992, the decree, National Broadcasting Decree said, whatever your qualification, you cannot practice journalism until you have at least a diploma in mass communication. Many students, many senior media practitioners, they came and did diploma. But the young people we have today, whatever you read, you just come and say you want to be a journalist and you are one. You will sit down in a chair, start YouTube, and then all of a sudden you have your own television station and you are the managing director and editor-in-chief. What kind of life is this? Who can practice law without being in the NBA? Who can practice medicine without being in the NMA? But people practice journalism without being members of the APJ. And it's a serious, serious problem for the Nigerian Union of Journalists, for the Nigerian Guild of Editors, and all of us. We have so many imposters, and those imposters are the ones causing our problems. So conflict is a major driver of news. It is inherent in nearly all news of sports, war, crime, violence, and internal disputes, and any difference of opinions. Many types of stories have conflict as their underlying element, which is a struggle against the odds. Some of these conflicts include man's struggle with nature. Nature is very powerful because nature is a manifestation of God. God designed nature and he put her on autopilot. So rain will come and sometimes refuse to come. Wind will come and sometimes refuse to come. There is the hot weather and there is hotter weather, and sometimes you have the hottest weather and you can't do anything about it. So it is a man's struggle. In America, hurricane. America, despite all their technology, when the hurricane season comes, everybody is taking shelter. You can't fight nature. So there's struggle between individual and organized society. Individual like Boko Haram, like bandits. They are fighting organized society because they want to organize themselves criminally. So that is another way of conflict. Then the struggle between political and economic groups, wars, campaigns, strikes. Most of the agitations in this country are about struggle for political and economic benefit. Most of it, political and economic benefit. You can read more. I hope the organizers will give you copies of the lecture, so you can read more on study lecture notes where I picked all these conflicts so you can be able to read and make sure that you understand. So from time immemorial, from the first man, Adam and Eve, we remember the story of Cain and Abel. In Islam, we call them Habila and Kabila. Habila and Kabila. This is serious. This is serious, MC. How about? I asked at the beginning, how long do I have? He said, I will round up. I will round down. So the sons of Adam, that was the beginning of human conflict. Sons of Adam, we all remember that. We all remember Cain and Abel in the Bible, Habil and Kabil in the Quran. That was a conflict. And there one killed the other. But when you come to reportage, in England today, the more people die the higher the hierarchy of the news. When I was working at the BBC, whenever we have reports from Nigeria, I don't say I can get a report from Kano, the news from Kaduna, Umar Farouk Musa from Abuja, Mato Adamu from Maiduguri, all of the reporters. Our editor would ask us, which story has higher casualty? White man, the more people dead, the higher the hierarchy of the news. But check China's news, for instance. In China, the highest news is the fastest train. If they get a very fast train, the train in China is taking 400 kilometers per hour. That is Kano to Abuja in 1 hour. And then they are trying to make more trains which are faster, which can take you to Lagos in no time. That is news for China. Bring that kind of news to America or to England, it is no news. So developmental news is different from conflict news. And unfortunately for us, most of us and the children we teach them with books written by the West. And our teachers also learn in the West. And it's conflict that is making news for us. So conflict, there will always be people who will say yes, and who will say no. I remember the story of a colleague of ours in AD. This man was very argumentative. Every time, everybody, 99% say no. One day they planned against him. They said, okay, when we say we take this side, we know he will take the other side. As soon as he takes the other side, we all go back to that side. So they came and said, A is A. And they said, yes, we all agree. He said, no, A cannot be A. All of them said, okay, we agree with you. Then we quickly changed to say A is not A. So, conflict, there are people like that. They don't like peace. They will never allow peace to reign. So, conflict is equal. People who say yes and people who say no. Whatever the minority of the people who say no, you have to placate them because they will cause trouble for you. One person, that is why you have minority report. Allow the minority to have their say, while the majority have their way. So it's very difficult. So as I said, Nigerian crisis have federal character. No this Boko Haram, no West banditry, no Central Farmer Hada, Southeast kidnappings and insurgency, Southwest impunity, SARS and Yahoo, South militancy, vandalization of the pipeline, Niger Delta crisis, etc. Everybody has a share of Nigerian conflict, and each one of them can be solved simply by the government. Because RIP was solved the South conflict in the Niger Delta. He called them and said, what is wrong with you guys, you young people? Why are you threatening the fight, etc., etc.? So they said, okay, let us address you, sir. So even the ADC was there, said, the young people from the Niger Delta, government, Songolo, etc., they said, we want to see you alone. And nobody would allow them to see the president alone. They were afraid the security. They said, no, we have to see you alone. The president said, everybody should go out. Everybody. He saw those young people alone. They told him, sir, we checked the creeks. We checked everywhere. You are the only one in your own government that doesn't have a you send out now your ministers, your everybody, all of them are thief. And the reason why we would accept your amnesty is because we believe in you, you are honest. And that's why they accepted. That's why they accepted the amnesty. Honesty, if you have leadership, which is good, you know, something can happen. So, what are the reasons for this? We have intra-community conflicts. For instance, now, in Islam, we have our own share of problems. For instance, we have Tariqa, it came earlier. We have Izala, it came later. We have Shia, it came later. Now, the Orthodox Church, for instance, came first in Christianity, followed by the Catholic Church, followed by the Pentecostals. Each one of us has trouble inside our religion. That's the conflict. Intra. Then the inter, about talk between Muslims and Christians, about Christians and Jews, about Muslims, etc., etc. Then there are other useless combinations of companies. Some companies you can't even explain them. Some of the reasons are economic, social, cultural, political, and sometimes plain crazy. In 2007, I was the Director General of the Societary Orientation Program of Kano State under Manani Branch Shekaro. UNDP invited me to go to Sierra Leone to brief the president and his country about societary orientation. The whole country of Sierra Leone, there are 6 million, just 6 million. But civil war, they kill about quarter of this people. They killed themselves. You remember the Blood Diamonds? Yeah. You remember Taylor, what's his name? Charles Taylor. You remember what happened? Liberia is 4 million. They kill half of it. This human beings, right? There is no humanity. So I went there, and so I told the president of Sierra Leone, the former president, Ernest Bai Koroma, I said, Kano State at that time, 20 years ago, we had 12 million people. And he said, my own country is 6 million. Your own state is 12 million, double my country. And then Nigeria at that time was 170 million. He said, that's why he said, when he comes to Nigeria, he will please down against the Nigerian president. The trouble Nigerian president is seeing is not seeing even 1% of it. But yet that country killed half of his country. Half of the population were traumatized because God gave them diamonds. That is a curse of natural resources. That is why Democratic Republic of Congo, that is why Zamfara gold. Gold. So sometimes I belong to both sides. For instance, we all remember in the 90s, Aguleri, Umuleri, these are communities of Igbo people. Same tribe, same religion, same community, but they fought over land. Land is the most serious in economics. Land, out of all the factors of production, land is the most important. So, if I say, you came, you are settlers. They are same Yoruba, the same culture, the same language, but they fight. Yeah? Farmer had a farmer. One day in the University of Kuyo, one professor said, you Fulanis, why are you killing us? I said, killing who? He said, everybody is afraid of you Fulani. You are killing us. I said, I am Fulani, but I'm also afraid of Fulani. They said, I told them, if they catch me, I am an economic entity. I'm not more Fulani. Unless we understand that. This is criminality. I said, okay, let me give you an example. I said to them, in the nutshell, all the professors were there. I said, you know Buhari is a Fulani man? He was president at that time. They said yes. I said, if this band is catching you, now money. They will not say, this is our brother. There was one kidnapping they did. They kidnapped a young girl, a Fulani girl from Adamawa, and they were negotiating the ransom in Fulfulde. The grandfather of the girl was abusing them and they were abusing him back. So I told them, I said, look guys, this is an economic crisis we have. It's not tribal. I said, I told them that Buhari is ethnically Fulani, as you can see him, but he is culturally Hausa because he doesn't even speak the Fulani language. So he is Hausa by culture, Fulani by ethnicity. And then he is a cattle herder because when he was a child, he was following cows. But now he's keeping his cows at home. He has a farm. So he's a farmer now. So I said he can do crisis. He is a farmer as well as a herder. So many of us in the north here, we are both. That is why the fight is not tribal. It is economic. It is over land. And it is about criminality. All of us must understand that, especially as journalists, because we have to be the ones to explain this to the world and to everybody else. So if you are growing, if you have 2 pets, if you have a cat, a dog, and a cat as pets, you are in trouble. Each one has a certain interest. You are in trouble to be able to manage between the two. So the 5 pillars of Nigerian security. Journalists have to take seriously. Number one is gun. Guns make all terrorists and bandits and militants bold. It is because of gun. If they have no gun, we will overrun them. It is gun. Number two, drugs make them reckless. It is because of drugs that they have no mental humanity. They take drugs. When you take drugs, the Prophet said, the Prophet of Muhammad said, there must be an equivalent in the Bible. He said, people who are shameless can do anything. When you take drugs, you take your mental capacity to reason, you take shyness out of you, you take fear out of you. Because there is one particular buyer, it's called Adongomozaki. For those Hausa speakers, Adongomozaki. That if you drink that drug, if you say a liar, you say you can fight the liar. Adongomozaki. That's what they take. Tramadol. Tramadol is Adongomozaki. When they take overdose of Tramadol, they can do anything. That's why they can kill old people. That's why they can kill babies. That's why they can set fire to a bus full of innocent passengers. Because they are drugged. Number three, forests hide them. Allah, God, sometimes we cry to say, Kano has no forest, so we don't have much oxygen. But looking at it from another angle, lack of forest is a blessing. Forest is the where they are hiding. Most of them, they use forest. So why don't you destroy the forest and save the people? Number four, motorcycles. Give them mobility. This is the only country in the world where kidnappers will say, bandits will say, part of our ransom for them motorcycles. And these motorcycles will not have a pin attached to them. And then they will not have a bomb put somewhere so that you blow. This is a country where still today, when you go to Fage, you will see new motorcycles arriving. And bandits will come and buy. This is a country. But if it were another country by now, there would not be a single motorcycle. Because they will be remotely destroyed. They cannot move without those motorcycles. There is no way. And then the last one, corruption. Corruption equals impunity. Corruption. There is no way 100 million will disappear in the bush. 100 million ransom that disappear in the forest. Something is happening. So they are armed and violent. Nigerian conflict is fueled by arms and drugs. Guns don't kill. You know, Trump said guns don't kill because the Republican Party supports the First Amendment that everybody in America can hold a gun. But guns are killing them. And you know, Obama tried, but he couldn't do anything about it. So Trump is saying guns don't kill, only crazy people do. So people are saying the Democratic Party, in response to him, give a crazy person a machete and see how many people will kill. Guns do kill because guns is an opportunity for a criminal to be bold. Tramadol gives them false bravado. Let me tell you, one research has said, you can Google it on the internet. The second highest importer of tramadol in the world is Benin Republic. Benin Republic, after America, Benin Republic is the second largest importer of tramadol. Where is it headed for? Top. If we have a serious country, I will occupy Benin Republic. Come on. I will check over that country. I say state number 37. So that I can control the ports. America will do that. America took over Grenada, Nicaragua. Exactly. Anything, Panama, of course. Anything that is against your security, you have to do serious matter. Google, you will see. Second largest importer of tramadol in the world after America is Benin Republic. How come? Can you imagine this? What kind of country we have? What kind of leaders do we have? Benin Republic, and the greatest manufacturer of tramadol. If tramadol is for painkiller, especially for our children who have sickle cell, they have a lot of pain. So tramadol usually 10 milligrams to 25 milligrams. India, they manufacture 500 milligrams, one tablet. And Nigerians go and buy it and bring it in. And you don't shoot the trafficker. If you don't kill the drug trafficker, we are in trouble. Thailand, when they give you visa, Thailand. You know, Thailand, they don't worship anything but statue. They are even no fishermen. When they give you visa, even in Abuja embassy, they will, on your passport, they will now. There's penalty for drug trafficker. They told them, how many Nigerians are in jail there waiting for them? China, they don't take nonsense. But somebody will even come and say, amnesty for drug trafficking. What kind of country is this? Amnesty for drug trafficking. We condemn that in entirety. So crimes and conflicts, sometimes philosophy or ideology, sometimes criminality. Nigerian reporting is mostly on effect and not the cause. People don't go back and investigate causes. They only report what happens. I will try to round up. So concept of news, elements of news, immediacy, prominence, drama, oddity, conflict. That's why we teach in the university. When a man bites a dog, that is news. But when a dog bites a man, we clap for the dog because he's doing his duty. The duty of a dog is to bite. So if you are misfortunate enough to tackle a dog and it bites you, the dog is doing its job. But when a man bites a dog, this is serious. So somebody is crazy among them. So Western news is conflict-based, but Eastern news is more development. UK BBC, how many died? Germany's news, mostly the top news in GW, I want both radio stations. One in Cologne in Germany and the other one in London. So in London, they ask you how many died. In Germany, what president is in which country, what diplomatic relations are there. Because Germans, they have something to sell. Somebody who has something to sell doesn't make trouble. If you have a business, usually you detest conflicts. If it's the same thing with rescued, they'll say somebody was rescued. Or in bank, they say we have given them a facility. No facility, it's a loan. You are going to pay it. So the choice of words in our reporting, we have to be very careful in our choice of words as reporters. So in general, you know your history, your geography. No journalist is successful unless you know your history and your geography. And you have to understand how to create fake news so that you can protect yourself. The Maasai, the Tutsi, the Fulani, the Dinka, most of them, these are categories in Africa. Maasai in East Africa, Tutsi in Central Africa, Fulani in West Africa, Dinka in Northeast Africa, in Sudan, South Sudan. These are Fulanis, quote unquote, Fulani relatives. They rear cattle. Where they are, for instance, in Africa, the West Africa, we have the Hausa who are the farmer, the Hutu in Rwanda who are the farmers, the Nuer in Sudan who are the farmers. They have the law of protection, and the herders have the law of hiding. There is conflict. People don't understand this. Go to Kenya, go to Tanzania, go to Rwanda, go to everywhere. There has always been farmer-herder clashes. But those sensible countries now, they are settling the herders down. You settle the herder down. You don't allow transhumans to feed people to continue going 1,000 kilometers every season. You don't do that. You have to do. West Africa must do something about this. It's beyond us. It's beyond one country. Unfortunately, they don't seem to realize that. So finally, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I want to argue here that our problem as Africans is more or less about our attitude. The difference between developing countries and the undeveloped ones is not in the age of the country. Neither does it reside in the available natural resources. Natural resources does not indicate development, and you will see why. The age of the country age, how many years of civilization does not guarantee you progress. Race is not a factor. Black man, if you get the environment correct, you will excel. Go to America, go to England. The best doctors are black people, and mostly from Nigeria and Africa. It is the environment that makes us dull, not we are dull. God is a fair God. He has distributed all knowledge equally among people. So it is your environment that will determine whether you succeed or you don't. So there is no race about it. Is it the religion? No. Religion does not limit you to your progress, and we will see why. So what is the difference? The difference is the attitude. These are the 10 ingredients of attitude. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, look at these 10 issues. Unless you have this, whatever religion you follow, whatever money you have, whatever you do, you can never progress if you don't have this. Ethics, especially in business. If you don't have business ethics, you are dead. Your country will never grow. Integrity, responsibility, respect for law and order, respect for the rights of others, hard work. God has made it possible. If you work hard, you will succeed. This is God's nature. If you work hard, you will succeed. If you sleep at home, you will not succeed. It is natural. Prudence. Prudence. How much data are you buying for a girlfriend, for instance? Close your eyes, my daughters. These boys. They will rather give their boyfriend, girlfriend pizza and eat rogo and jada. But they don't have prudence, no priority, this is the kind of thing we live in Africa. You know, even my children, I tell them that. I say, look at you. The will of super action. People in Africa, they do only the needful. People go to the office, they don't do anything. They just sit down. No, nobody will do extra. And the doing extra is what brings the best out of humanity. That's why there is a Nobel Peace Prize, there is a Nobel Chemistry Prize, there is Pulitzer Prize for journalists, etc. It is because people did the extra work. 40 years we have not won the Nobel since Wole Soyinka 1986. Punctuality. Without punctuality, you can never succeed. I'm telling you. However godly you are, if you don't start your church service in time, you are not succeeding. If the Imam is coming at 1 p.m. and he comes at 1:10, you are not succeeding. Punctuality is an ingredient of development. Your attitude and then planning. Most of us don't plan. We just plan to fail. So the difference between the poor countries and the rich ones is not in the age. Egypt is very old, 5,000 years. Jacob went to, Joseph was there. Jacob followed him with the 11 brothers. From that time, Egypt had been a civilization long before Joseph. Long before. But today you cannot count it among the G7. It's not in the G7. So the 4,000, 5,000 years of the pyramid has not translated into current development. India is more than 3,000 years old, civilization of India. But it's not in G7, even though it is right now. But take countries like Japan, take countries like Malaysia, take countries like South Africa. They are considered successful because they are getting things right. So the difference between poor countries and rich countries does not reside in the available natural resources. Those countries with natural resources are the most backward now. Diamond, Sierra Leone, backward. Liberia, diamond, backward. Oil, Nigeria, backward. Oil, Cameroon, backward. DRC, every mineral in the world, backward. This is our situation. This is our situation. And you will see why. Take Japan, for instance. Look at Japan. Japan is non-white. In fact, some people call them yellow. They are worshipping Shinto, Buddhism. They have zero natural resources in Japan. Zero. They have limited territory. 80% of Japan is mountain. 80%. So they can't grow even their food. They can't raise even their cattle. Japan. Yet today is the world's third biggest economy and will be on the United Nations Security Council permanent members very soon. The country is like an immense floating factory It is importing raw materials from the whole world and exporting manufactured products to the world. Because of what? Those 10 ingredients: ethics, integrity, respect for law, respect for law and others. Japanese, you have seen the video. Japanese students will stand on the road. All the drivers, when they see students in uniform, they will stop. And the student will cross the road and turn the drivers. That is ethics. The children, they sweep their own classes. I hope the principal of St. Thomas is hearing me. You know, Ngata will not speak, will not. The children of the privilege, tell them to sweep class. So, but look at these Japanese children. Look at them. They sweep their own class. They clean after themselves. When they have lunch, they go and wash. Take Malaysia. Now, Japan is not even Christian. It's not white, but it has succeeded. The reason why God is fair. We have to understand this. Our God is fair. Just do what you can and He will give you the permission to progress. Allah is very fair. So take Malaysia. This is a Muslim country, but it's not non-white. Look at the map. It is split in two halves. The distance between one part of Malaysia, which is near Cambodia and Laos, the other part is far away with Indonesia. Hundreds of kilometers between them. And its same colonial history with Nigeria. Ethnically diverse because the Malays are the majority of Muslims, followed by the Indians, followed by the Chinese and other smaller tribes, especially on the island of Borneo. We all remember the story of the palm seedlings. Malaysia came to Nigeria, they went to NIFO, oil palm research. They got palm seedlings. They went to their country and planted them. Today, they are the highest exporter of palm oil. And the Nigeria who gave them the seed, we are buying from them. No, it's usually that. Our village people are very nice. Our village people, it must be our village people. How about man? How about? How can this happen? Kai. So just look. You know, at one time, Malaysia was advancing too rapidly. The president of that time, Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad, told the scientists, they said, please, slow down the progress so that our people can catch up. The country was running faster than the people. You know, in Nigeria, the people are running faster than the country. We are the opposite. The Nigerians are running faster, we are fastest. So let's go to a Christian country, South Africa. So what I'm trying to say here, a Muslim country can progress, a Buddhist country can progress, a Christian country can progress. Because God is fair. If you do things right, He will allow you. He will allow you. So South Africa is Christian, is black. And it got independence only 30 years ago. The white people, when they were giving Mandela the independence, they said, blacks are not good managers of the economy, and that the economy will collapse in 2 years. That's what they predicted, the white people. The economy will collapse in 2 years. The infrastructure, such as energy, telecoms, water, DSTV, GoTV, DSTV, GoTV, GSTV. South African colonialism, black people colonizing. The same black people. And we are not intelligent one night. Take ShopRite. People shop in ShopRite. In 2005, South Africa are so sophisticated in politics that they impeached the vice president in 2005. 2010, he reinvented himself and came back and impeached the president and put himself as president. Check Zuma. That is politics, madam. Kai. So, if people can succeed, whatever your religion, you can see Japan, you can see South Africa, you can see Malaysia. What is it you journalists are not telling us? Why do we not get it right? So, tell the guy here, tell him, this is our president, tell him. So please, a positive attitude is what we need in this country. We have to put away our primordial differences to report how we should report. It is the leadership problem. No, Chinua Achebe said the problem of Nigeria is in its leadership. And everybody agrees with that. When you see a senator doing a 100 naira million project, you know there is something wrong in this country. There is something wrong. So finally, in conclusion, conflict is blind. We all know that. It's blind. Bandits will kidnap everybody for ransom. The moment we start ascribing tribe to it, that is the end of our solution to it. We have to all come together to fight it together. Muslim and Christian. We are both victims. So, Boko Haram, their victims include Muslims, very many. They go to the mosque, they kill each other, they kill them. Well, who killed Jafar? No Christian went to and murdered Jafar Mahmoud Adam. No Christian. No Christian went and killed, what's his name, Albani in Zaria. It's a Boko Haram. So the thing is, we are all victims. Similarly, Ogoni 9. Do you remember Ogoni 9? Now they have been pardoned, and nobody remembers Ogoni 5. The ones who were killed earlier. Nobody remembers. But today they are being remembered. So, Rwanda, 1994, nobody cared about religion. It was tribal. It was terrible. Terrible. Now, what has Paul Kagame done? Paul Kagame, in 31 years, he has created intermarriage between Tutsi and Hutu. So in Rwanda now, if you sit down from Kigali airport, and the young man who is collecting you to come and pick you, ask him, are you Tutsi or are you Hutu? He will say, I am Rwandan. He's neither of the two. Most likely his father is Tutsi, his mother is Hutu, they have intermarried. He wants to dilute the population. That's how to do it. Social engineering. It can be done. Social engineering. So no young man in Rwanda now will claim to be Tutsi or Hutu. So there is no way in the future somebody you will fight your mother or your father. You belong to both. So Northern Ireland, if you all remember, the Catholics and the Protestants, Northern Ireland, there was peace by 1998. It's called the Good Friday Agreement. I was part of it. I was there in Belfast when it was signed. I was the correspondent for the BBC. It was a religious problem. It was Catholics who claimed Ireland versus the Protestants who came from England. And that is nature about conflicts. And then Pfizer, they came here in 1996. They used our children as guinea pigs and they give them to Rwanda gave them medicine which was not tested, and the children died and were maimed. And it was an American journalist who brought the news. And the Abbas was sitting down there not breaking the news. You are so distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my children journalists, you know this fact. Always remember this fact. Safety and survival first. Thank you very much.
Okay, please, can we have a standing ovation for Dr. Bala Mohammed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much, sir. So, let me acknowledge Dr. Hassan Tamadu from Nigerian Police Academy. Dr. Hassan Tamadu, welcome, ma. Let me also acknowledge Alhaji Abbas Kabir, a national trustee, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Northwest. You're welcome, sir. Past Brian, sorry. So quickly, let me invite Mr. Roland to appreciate Dr. Bala Mohammed. Mr. Roland, please.
No, there's going to be question and answer.
No, it's okay. Let's appreciate the question and answer. Can someone, Mr. Roland, please? Appreciate the
Man, finish before you. Now you still come talk. Because they will ask a question.
Campan. One of the person to appreciate Dr. Owo. I feel he deserves the professorship. I'm not the academist actually. As a journalist, I feel never ignored. We've met severally with Dr. Bala Mohammed, and honestly, I don't think there would have been any process that would have done justice to this theme other than the revered journalist, academic, and next is the bureaucrat. So, you have got very, very critical and silent aspect of journalism. As a journalist for over 2.5 decades, a lot of things has happened. I'm the chairman of the Academic Media Practitioners Association. We have set a motion for a conference on the role of communication in religious tolerance. Some of you were there. So, communication has been the bedrock. What we're trying to say is, you made mention of banditry, terrorism, kidnapping, rustlers, and for our information, the phrase "farmer conflict" emerged, although got prominence. This is something that predated us as human beings. There were farmer conflict before our parents were born. Why now an issue? When it became an issue, it was because PRP brought into prominence. Let me give an example, sir. So let's take an example. In 2003, I went to cover an event. I brought into the news PRP, and we wrote suspected Fulani men. Because whenever we go to cover crisis on the plateau, the villagers will say they saw Fulani men. Then we will come and write suspected Fulani men. Sale Bayari of them, yet another was coming up, threatening to sue Plateau State Government, Johnny Piapo, for stereotyping Fulani men. He was right. Then the management summoned our editors there. We were just called reporters that there is investigation. We shouldn't be using suspected Fulani men. One of our letters, he has retired and died in state now, Simon Wash. You should know himself. Simon Wash, when I brought the report, there was an attack then was emerging. He said, no, they have cautioned them not to use suspected Fulani men. So we were wondering, what can we use? We walk out of office and say, can we try to down farmer conference? That was it. I own up to it. Even the academics, I told the professor, I said, do the thesis. On that, I said, calm down, sir. So he said, can we use it? The day we took the story at 6:30 news, NTA Jos, then Abdulrahman Ibn Muhammad, sent for the tape and the script. They collected it, and a day later, it was on network. That was when other farmer conflict got prominence. So now, as our respect academics want to, sir, if there is anything we tell you here, it's just associated like a woman will say. After Thanksgiving for her as a living, I said, can you say the word of God sometimes? She said, man, I wouldn't know what I was telling So, saying thank you, which I understand. On behalf of the participants and members of the candidate organization, Practitioners Association of Nigeria, so once more, we say thank you and remain blessed.
Thank you very much, sir. So with all the patience, the journalist is a bit talk. Okay, quickly.
And one of you get journalist as well as teacher in one person.
So I'd like to pass Brian, the Congressional Trustee, LUG, just come and share with us this.
Just hold on. We have the National Director of Communication live right now. Please, can we please put our hands together as we appreciate. Father, you are very welcome. Can we hear him? That's the National Director of Communication, Reverend Father Dr. Michael Umo from the Kano Secretariat of Nigeria. They have a function and you couldn't attend and is addressing us via online. Father, you have this platform now.
Let the camera show the faces of people first.
Father, can you see them?
I can see,
That is Dr. Yes.
turn the camera from.
Keep turning the camera. Please don't forget to show him our president.
That's good.
Father, you're not seeing our president. I showed you. Show president. Turn the camera to that side. Turn to that side. Father, you see our president?
I can see.
Very good.
Where is Mr. Adams?
Mr. Adams. This is it.
Okay, now I go.
Where your directors are present here too, Father.
Confident, I see you very confident.
Thank you very much. So, Father, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And you have the floor. Thank you, Father.
All right, thank you very much. Greetings to you all from the Turkish Secretariat of Nigeria. And particularly greetings from the Episcopal Church. I hope there is no help there.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Is that going?
No. We can hear you clearly, sir. Clear, loud and clear.
All right. So I also bring the greetings from our Episcopal Chairman, Bishop David Ajahn. I regret that I'm not physically present, and I humbly beg for your excuse and understanding. I couldn't confirm I will come because I really thought I'd be able to make it. So please pardon me. I want to congratulate you for this program. Indeed, it is very commendable. Permit me to convey this gathering. And I know I'm very stressful. Mr. Adams works contacting that, but that particular effort did not yield fruit. But here we are today, gathered in our numbers. Well done to you all. I commend your choice of the topic, and I've already seen a clip from our dear professor. The little I saw was very energetic, and I'm sure we have been really blessed by the paper. I didn't see when you clapped for him. Yeah, I get to see you.
They even need standing ovations.
Yes, standing ovation will not get of him. Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you, sir.
When we speak about peace journalism and interfaith dialogue in a divided society, maybe it was not clear to people. Maybe it was an abstract there. But that topic is more apt today than when you chose it. With the ongoing talk about Trump and America, genocide or no genocide, religious issue or no religious issue, terrorism or no terrorism, government role, sincere or compromise, I think these are in the front burner today. So this topic is very apt. We as Christian journalists have very significant role to play as professionals. It is my prayer that this discussion will not end in the conference room, but indeed, this gathering will set in motion agenda for meaningful and effective action in addressing the situation in the country. This occasion is also an opportunity for us to put in work at our own structural organization as a Catholic media body in Nigeria. We thank God for how far we have gone, how far we have fared in the past decade, and for this achievement of past years. Campan have definitely contributed enormously to media in the church and the church's media interaction with the society. So I congratulate you all once again. We thank the many people who, in spite of the numerous challenges, have been forthright, dedicated, and committed. knows you all. May He abundantly bless and reward you. Going further, you all are quite aware of the restructuring plans that are on at the moment. For those who were at the Sydney conference in Abuja, you heard and saw what happened. The fact at the moment is good. There are many people doing what? Struggling on their own as individuals and as members of the various Catholic media bodies. There are those who are priests doing their best. There are those who are Campan members doing their best. There are those who are Kaya members doing their best. We have lecturers, Catholic lecturers in media doing their best. But the fact is, everybody seems to be working independently. There seems to be no synergy, and this causes a lot of problems every now and then, and our inability to achieve the best we can. It is in view of this that the Catholic Bishops' Conference decided to put a hold on the election of Sydney executive, because Sydney is key to all Catholic media bodies in Nigeria, since it is composed primarily of members of Kaya and Campan. If the basic elements are not right, the products at the level of people may likely not be right. And that is the problem we have been going through. So, there is an organogram that has already approved by the Catholic Bishops' Conference. Simply interim executive committee with representatives from the body of directors, Campan, Kaya, and lecturers for that executive body. They are already looking into that program, and I can tell you they have seen it and they are happy with it. They are looking into a constitution at the moment, because every Catholic media organ must be related to and be in conformity with your organogram. Your Campan president is a member. Remember, you guys elected him. Your secretary is also a member. You elected him. So Campan is well represented on that body. So I want to beg all of us, please carry on with the bill. Carry on with the bill. But work within instruction and in obedience to your president, who is connected to the national government and takes instruction that comes from the bishop. In that way, I assure you, and that is what the promise I sincerely made, that I personally, as your national director, stand only for good, only for progress, only for unity, only for synergy, only for efficiency, and only for Christ. May God Almighty help all of us.
Amen.
Let it that way. And bless Campan forever.
Amen.
May Campan move forward going on from here. Through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Father.
The president will appreciate Father for his comments, and then if there's anything anybody wants to say, the president will handle this by himself. Mr. President, sir.
Hello, Father. Good afternoon once more.
Yeah, Mr.
Yes, Father. Thank you for being with us for this time. And we're sorry for the inconveniences. Okay. Okay. I'm sending the greeting from every one of us to you. And Lucy at the back.
Yeah.
Is that Lucy? Okay. Thank you for all you are doing at the Secretariat.
So the national party is fully represented.
Yes, I can see. That's why I'm asking you to Lucy. Anyway, we thank you for what you are doing at the Secretariat, and we are fully with you. Father, my speech is already on the platform. We need you to go through it because we requested some things from you on that platform, the speech. So when you go through it, then you can act on it for us. And then we'll be having our AGM later at about 4 p.m. We might call your attention again. Yeah, so now we say thank you from all of us. We have our directors are here. About 8 of them. We have director from Kaduna, from Kabanchan, from Castina, from Sokoto, from Mina, and from
Kano.
Okay, and we have participants from Medugri, we have participants from Boko, we have participants from so all over the north. They are all here. Thank you, Father.
Yeah.
Thank you. How you want to Father?
Yeah. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Father. At this juncture, if Father have nothing more for us, we will say thank you with a round of applause as we say, Father, bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
See you at 4 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you, Father. In court.
Bye. Okay, thank you very much. That is the message from Catholic Secretariat. Quickly, I want to acknowledge Hatia Olena Isiaka. Hatia Olena Isiaka from Tri-Side. Kano, please, can you move your hand to the crowd? Okay, welcome. So, Elijah Abbas Ibrahim, you can. Your senior comrade. Senior Comrade Abbas Ibrahim, former NUJ chairman, who is in charge of the NUJ chapel, because of his good work. After managing that particular chapel for 2 tenures, he was elevated to Northwest as a trustee. So Abbas Ibrahim, thank you very much. And welcome to the podium.
Okay, thank you very much, comrade. We are comrades, so it's a pleasure being here. Don't mind my organs, guys, but to allow Mohammed, waiting for the association, click anytime now. I think I do not have to say about, well, the process of peace journalism and dialogue has just that. I'll just talk a little bit as my experience as a crime reporter. Because all my life, I just hired on the first, that's 4 days ago, as the deputy director, head of government. I've worked in government, I've worked in the private sector, and I'm happy that I'm now on my own. But still about So things, you see, conflict is inevitable, and peace is good. What is conflict? Madam Allah has spoken wide about it. And some of the things that cause all these problems is lack of exposure and understanding. I started my primary school here in Bukavu Barracks so many years ago. I can remember here in Kano, we Muslims were few in the barracks. And I vividly recall that we used to sing our Father, who give us this day, our daily bread, forgive us our trespasses. This is over 50 years ago. But I still have it. It was even much later, as we progressed, that we started singing Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, because the majority were Christians. Most of my friends were Christians. My father was a soldier. His soul rest in peace. Amen. So you see, the basic point I'm trying to make is you must appreciate each other. That is why you hardly find trouble. You hardly find this stigmatization, saying this is from here, this is from that, this is from this religion, this one is from that religion. Because of the exposure, barracks converges people from different parts. And you need to appreciate one another. This national anthem, the Nigeria we heard, we did Nigeria we heard when we were in secondary school, I think for 1 or 2. So when it came back, I said, it's something that I knew while I was a child. And it never got out of here. Nigeria we heard they are all their fatherland. So we need to tolerate each other. Let me just share, I have a little time, I know. As a crime reporter in 1991, here in Kano, the Rayhan Bonki crisis erupted. When the German evangelist, it was a sad thing to remember. It's a bad history. Because history has it that about 500 people were killed. Why? Because the message, there was a problem with the communication then. There was a problem with the communication then. There were posters, there were handbills, radio Kano where I walked, and where Bunky was coming to Kano, and the message was not appropriately passed. It was not, the information was not appropriately managed. So it sparked the crisis that everybody wouldn't want it to occur again. My director of news was a Christian. Madam Hussein died, he's late now. He's a Christian from Southern Borno. He had to be invited to the Judicial Commission of Inquiry that investigated that crisis. Because we aired it, it was the only radio station then in Campan. It was a Thursday, it has come. And we don't know such things happen again. But there was a problem with the communication. Then the message was not properly passed, and it was not properly also decoded. That was the problem, and that was the gap that gave birth to that unwholesome event. Here in Kano, we used to have so many Christians had many key positions. We have justices here in Kano, we're mostly Christians. We have Justice Raphael Olufemi Roland, the chairman of the Appropriate Fire Tribunal. We had Justice Yelo Ogbon, and so on and so forth. And that crisis that happened, there was a problem between one Pius Obese and Ahmed. It was Ahmed actually that provoked Pius. It was here in Savongari, and now Pius knocked Ahmed, and Ahmed unfortunately fell. His head hit the side of the road, and he died. There was wahala now. Each time the case was taken to the court, and each time the proceeding is going on, they say, I fish Nyamlia fish. We tried as much as possible because, and the witnesses that came to testify proved that Ahmed provoked Paris that led him to hit him, and unfortunately he fell by the roadside. You see, these are things that we have to learn to tolerate each other. After all, when God created us, He didn't have any conversation with us that is going to make this a Christian and is going to make this a Muslim. It's going to make this a Hausa, it's going to make this Igbo, Yoruba, Ibibio, and so on and so forth. It's nature and destiny. So we need to appreciate each other and forge ahead. If we look at what happened in Rwanda in 1994, that is the Hutu and Tutsis, Oga has touched it. The radio caused that problem. In 100 days, the radio was airing, smashed them like cockroaches. That is, the Hutus were instigating to people to smash the Tutsis like cockroaches. Between April and July, 100 days, about 800,000 people were killed. That is the radio. So we must be very careful in managing our information and how we disseminate it, especially while handling conflicts. So I wish you everything good, and I hope that this gathering will generate the outcome is desired to. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much. Please hand your applause. I know we are getting tired. Thank you very much. The next is Mr. Jenny Oteme. Is he around? The IT correspondent, is he around? He has gone. He's coming back. Okay, okay, fine. Let's get some feedback from, let's ask questions, clarifications from the paper presentation. Dr. Bala spoke a lot. Spoke about conflict reporting, economical reporting, looked at the diversity of the international radio station that we have. I was once listening to Hausa, BBC, and AIT. I have my wall receiver, but at the point I threw away the wall receiver and stopped listening to those news. Because I just discovered that at the point they are too interested in this conflict issue, just as you said. So, as professionals in a reportage, what are these key issues that we think we have and we are like searching for solutions? He is a professional, Abbas is here. They have still long in this profession and they can help us out. What are these issues? The section is a brainstorming session, and we need to take a lot of things home. What are these issues, Father?
Thank you. Let me start by thanking Dr. for the great presentation. We are all here seated as professionals, and we are charged to promote peace in our research. The advancement in technology has created another section of journalism, the citizen journalism now I'm talking about. When individuals with their phones are seen at crime scenes, report an issue, the masses are vulnerable. And so when they see these clips, they believe them totally. Following the mainstream media, the reportage may not be as reported by the citizen journalists. And that has created doubt in the minds of the masses. Sometimes they feel that the mainstream media or professional journalists are not truthful enough to report what happened. But then, I think they do that in order to avoid more conflict. Now my problem is, how can we manage this? Since we have a vulnerable population that believes somehow more on the reportage of citizen journalists than the professional journalist, should the professional journalist continue to play with words in order to promote peace, or report exactly what happens and provide solutions? So my problem is how we can manage this so that the professional journalist will continue to gain his integrity in the eyes of the masses. Because as it is now, many people don't actually believe in the integrity of the professional journalist because they feel they are covering so many things which is actually geared towards peace. So how far can we actually manage that? Doctor, during your presentation, you made mention of so many things that are very, very factual. But then one thing that struck me was the poor nature of journalists across the country. And this is particularly one of the key issues that may tempt a journalist to throw away his integrity. I want to ask, how can we manage this? How can journalists be like self-sufficient financially, so that they will not be tempted to distort what they are supposed to report by the masters. Thank you.
They are all portable. And then I just touch on part of the issues I want to raise. Let me really emphasize that. And firstly, commend Doctor, who shares the same name with the governor. Thank you very much. You see, everything is all about ethics. We must stand by the ethics of the profession. That's what we are professional. We should be proud of ourselves. Anywhere we go, we are recognized. That's why anybody, whether a president is making a speech, if after recognizing the executive, the next, the chair of the judiciary, the third, the fourth is gentleman of the press. By that name, gentleman of the press, it carries a lot of prestige. We must. I'm not answering for Dr. What, just clarity. It's because of the ethics of the profession that we do certain things. Let me give you an example. You accompany your family to the Kano airport. After taking off, you went back and you're sitting at the living room, and the news goes, the plane that just left Kano International Airport has crashed landed and there are no survivors. Do you know how many people died? You're going to kill more people on the plane. So because of the ethics of the profession, we say the plane has disappeared from the radar. Search is going on to ascertain whether it made emergency landing somewhere. At that time, family members are coming around to start consulting you and keeping you at least protecting some people from committing suicide. It is the ethics of the profession. Let me give you an example in like just the bureau, Fulani, the bureau, Mambo. You go to a crime scene, an attack scene, and you report that Fulani has killed 100 people, or bureau has killed 100 people, started showing dead bodies. You're going to kill more people there. That's why the ethics of the profession, you cannot even give figure. It is the police that will confirm the figure, the casualty level. As at the time of filing this report, the casualty level has not been confirmed from the police. Your story can go. So if we uphold our ethics, just like the doctor said, I think we're going to help the society. It's not as if just like you said, it's not like the conventional media is hiding facts. Let me tell you, the harm the social media has done is enormous. It's because there's no censorship. So I want to align with what the doctor said, and partly answering what you're saying. Sometimes we are given a breaking news that you don't know anything about. What is breaking? First thing I want to talk about is the issue of copy and paste. A lot of us don't do what is called fact check in our reportage. Anything you see, you copy and paste without confirmation. And we have sent a lot of people to their early grave because of this kind of thing. So, my observation and contribution revolves around upholding the ethics of the profession and doing the right thing. The last thing is self-development. We talk about how do we encourage it. If you develop yourself, if you do self-development, I think no politician will use you and dump you. And nobody will entice you with money. Only if you are a hungry journalist or a journalist or a quantumist. So I want to encourage us to go into self-development and be independent from inducement. It will help us grow in this profession. Lastly, I want to make observation from personal experience. What I experienced here today. Yeah. I may not come back again. I may not come back again. I may not come back. We as journalists are not even fair to ourselves. You are covering an event that is going for millions of people outside. A fellow journalist is obstructing you. Please, I had an experience during the mass, and I had an experience here again. Please, some of us are from print, some of us are from electronic. You don't tell the man covering that he's blocking you. It's appalling coming from a journalist. Please, let's learn the ethics of the profession. Thank you very much. Please, subsequently, let us stick to our questions. If you want to take reactions, we'll take them later. Let us not answer the question. Let's leave the answers to come from the speaker. When it's time for contribution, we'll take contributions. Any other questions, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My question is on addressing injustice in society. Okay, sorry, my name is Freiraisiaka and I'm from Christchurch. So, considering the theme of the workshop, you will wonder if those that organized the program had an insight of the situation would be correct. So a lot of things are going on. So Dr. Keith, my question is, how do we effectively tackle injustice to see that there is peace in our society? Because I don't see how we expect people that are paid to feel okay and we coexist in peace. That is not possible. So how do we effectively tackle the injustice that we are facing in the society to guarantee peace? Thank you very much.
Okay, any other question? So, or do we break here so that Dr. will respond before we take all of this? If somebody has spoken your mind, just.
Good afternoon, everybody. So my question is, my name is Stephen Abibu, Medical Diocese. So now, my major concern is reporting good cases that or good reporting when it comes to journalism. Now, what is the safety? If you want to actually practice that, what's the guarantee of someone's safety? It's not just about reporting it. Yes, it's good to report what is actually happening. But the safety too is a concern. What is the guarantee of somebody reporting a good, giving a good report on what happened? What is the safety of that person? Or what is the NUG or as a body doing in respect to that? It's a major concern too. Thank you.
As a body.
Good afternoon to you all. I think some of the questions I want to ask is Kano. My doctor, based on your presentation, you actually talks about neutrality and impartiality in terms of reporting. So, as a professional, how best can you advise us to actually maintain that ethics, neutrality, and impartiality in terms of reporting? Thank you.
For Anthony Police, candidates of freedom. Very quickly, from before your introduction, you started by saying that it is quite unfortunate that among the elites that you are united. The idea of faith does not come in, but amongst the poor, religion and faith always come in. In terms of now, very soon we'll begin to prepare for the election. How do we report and ensure that the poor and the ordinary people, they understand that there is no need for us to mention the ethnicity of the faith, but for us to be just in voting the one who is going to be very much active and who will do the work. How do we report this and ensure that we pass the message out there make the poor ones to understand that religion and faith should not come into place. Thank you.
Dr. Israel. Thank you so much. My name is Saib. I have just two questions. One, from the theme of today's conference, how can peace journalism counter the growing influence of fake news and hate speech in Nigerian digital space? How can peace journalism counter the growing influence of fake news and hate speech in Nigerian digital space? Second question. What practical step can media organizations take to institutionalize peace journalism in their editorial policies? Because each editorial arms have their own policies. The PN, the media camera. So how can they institutionalize peace journalism in their editorial policies?
My name is Roland Rollins from Post Archdiocese. Professor, my question is this way. Where is the position of a journalist while reporting conflicts? Because having been a journalist for this while, I've noticed that sometimes absence of identifying some terms add to the conflict. For example, if we were here, how many journalists are able to differentiate that today in Nigeria, despite the myriad of conflicts we have activities of terrorists that are not bandits. We have bandits that are not terrorists. We have kidnappers. We have rustlers. We have herders. We have farmers. So, now as a journalist, you don't have the full knowledge of this. How do you expect the journalist to be a peace, to kind of to report what will give peace to the society? And aside that, sir, a bandit, a rustler, a kidnapper, a herder, and a terrorist, they are in one business of outlaw. All of them uses drugs. They uses guns. Drugs are not manufactured in this country. Guns are not manufactured in this country. Motorcycles are not manufactured in this country. But sir, if you analyze all our reports, none of journalists do try to highlight this. So where is the place of the journalists?
Okay, thank you. Is that all? Okay, you should sit down.
Camera said, do you want to sit down and react? Yes, I can sit.
Okay, sir.
It's on camera, so these are the reactions. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much once again. This just, if not I was a teacher, I would run away. Thank you everybody for the contribution, and thank you to the second speaker for the clarification and the helping in resolving this. Citizen journalism. This is a very serious area, citizen journalism. Actually, citizen journalism is creating more problems than solving them. When citizen journalism was invented, you see that in law, there is what is called citizen arrest. If you as a citizen, you see a crime, you can take action and later on report to the security agencies. You see somebody trying to kill somebody over a phone, and you can be able to prevent it. That is citizen action, citizen prevention, and citizen arrest. If you can arrest a person.
But it is a very dangerous thing in Africa, and especially in Nigeria. Most people who die in conflict are those who are coming in between to intervene. People who come to separate people from fighting usually end up getting the bad angle of it. That is why many people don't come out when there is a scream for help. So citizen journalism came out of that area where people don't trust the mainstream media, that the mainstream media is not reporting what should be reporting because the mainstream media is either owned by government or owned by private individuals with their vested interests. As I said earlier, for instance, if you worked in the Concord in the 1980s, you could not criticize the NPN, even if the NPN made news on the negative aspect. So if you were in NTA, if you were in FRCN, there was no way you could criticize the government. So the mainstream media, usually, whether private or public, i.e. government, or owned by individuals, they have their limitations. And so citizen journalism was the third angle, somebody coming in to do this reportage. But this has now been abused, seriously abused, because of the lack of, especially these three things. Most people who claim to be journalists today and claim to be broadcasting or writing news on the social media especially, they lack ethics. They have no idea of the ethics of journalism. They lack the law of journalism. They don't know plagiarism. They don't know blasphemy. They don't know slander. They don't know defamation. They don't know anything that the rights of somebody ends where the rights of somebody else begins. They have no idea. And then they have no idea about patriotism. So they have no idea how to do that. So the person asking the question is asking, how do we manage this? This can be managed by law, by law, by law. Unfortunately, when the National Assembly started to enact a law against this reckless social media use to break Nigeria's unity, the law the National Assembly wanted to do was the law to protect themselves and their sharing of money and everything they were doing under the shadows that nobody should report it. And that is why that legislation never saw the light of the day. That is why everybody protested, because a law should be all encompassing. For instance, now, China is very advanced, but no stupid young man will create fake news and put it on Chinese media and say, during maintenance in the 1980s, they were killed in Kano. Who is following up in their family? So I always tell my students, it's good to make a name, it's good to be famous, but think of your family. You have to think of your family. The pay is not enough. I left, let me tell you the greatest joke in our lives. I left a salary of 25,000 naira. 1996, my salary was 25,000, about 15,000 naira, my salary of a month. I left Nigeria to go to London to work for the BBC. I left 15,000 today. Next month, they paid me 2,700 pounds sterling. Translated into naira at that time was 700,000 naira. My salary was 15,000. That's why people are saying you are crazy to come back. Your head must be not correct for you to leave that and come back. The thing is, when you are in somebody's country, you are always seen as second class. You are always seen as, and of course, all of us know raising your children in a foreign land, it is not the best sometimes. So, you look at the difference. That's why we as BBC journalists, we cannot take a bribe from you. That is not when a governor came or vice president. Actually, I interviewed, the reason why I left BBC was, as if you read by, when somebody introduced me, I was press secretary to the former vice president. He was the one, the foreign minister at that time was Sula Lamido. He came to the BBC, we had an interview, and they wanted me to come and work in the villa for them. So they brought me back to Nigeria. That is how I came back. Now, the thing is, the pay of a Nigerian journalist is not enough. And we all know this. And that is why the output is not good enough. So if you leave 50,000 to go to 700,000 naira, just imagine the difference. What can a governor who comes from the BBC tell you? So we're asking tough questions. If he's going, he will take out some $200, $300 to give you. We say, no, sir. No, we call it no funds. We don't collect from them. We never did. In VOA, our colleagues, Voice of America, a governor went to visit Voice of America in Washington. After the interview, they escorted him to the car and he gave them $50,000 to go and share. They are getting good pay and they are told not to collect anything from anybody. 15 journalists were dismissed in Voice of America. 15 journalists for collecting something which is not enough for 1 month. If you are taking in VOA, your salary is about $5,000 and they share that money about $3,000. Why bring yourself into trouble for small change? So that's why at the BBC and VOA and DW, the journalists are well paid so they can say the truth. So they can go ahead and damn, quote unquote, any consequences. So the poverty, the person mentioned the reason. The poverty in our system is. So I always advise my students, yes, be courageous, yes, be bold, but remember your family. Because the NUJ, I will follow Abbas, I will try and tell him this. I wish you were here when I'm answering this. The NUJ should have a class insurance. They should insure journalists so that when they are injured or when they are harassed, at least there is some backup. The Nigerian Guild of Editors and the NUJ should have some kind of insurance to protect journalists. Group life insurance, something like that. Yes, but we have been talking about this for a long time and nobody is doing anything about it. So please, my children, don't go and be over brave. Don't be over courageous. Be careful. When you look right, look also left. Yes, these politicians are very wicked. They don't have pity. They will protect themselves. As I said, they are all united. When it comes to sharing money, No Jesus and no Muhammad is involved. At all, at all. The peace and blessings of Allah be upon them. They don't care about us. So it is about us. We have to be careful what we do. So the poverty is there, but there has to be regulation. Whatever it is, there has to be regulation. The law should be there. But people who are citizen journalists, they don't even know themselves. They don't know what to report and how to report it. The second person actually helped me in answering all these questions, and I'm grateful for that intervention. Injustice. Forever, thank you for that question. Journalists should be in the vanguard of fighting injustice. Yes. But you see, many journalists lose their lives in the quest of fighting injustice. And we all know that. And that is why sometimes we advise that whatever you do as a journalist, think twice before you expose yourself. I remember Idi Amin Dada. Remember the president of Uganda, Idi Amin. So he came and addressed journalists. He says, I guarantee you freedom of expression, but I don't guarantee you freedom after expression. After expression, you can say whatever you want to say, but I don't guarantee you security and safety after you said what you want to say. So be careful. In Africa, you have to be careful in practicing journalism. You are not protected, even though there are things which you should broadcast or you should write. You have to make sure you are protected. There is one boy in Kaduna, his name is Dadiata. 6 years now, we have not seen that boy. He has disappeared. He was brave and courageous. And somebody should do it. But where is the protection from the NUJ, from the NGE, Nigerian Guild of Editors? All of us journalists should have a class group insurance so that when something happens to us, at least we have some protection. So yes, we have to report injustice. Yes, we have to ensure, because injustice unreported is injustice twice. We have to expose corruption. We have to expose injustice. We have to do as much as we can. But make sure, if you can report that injustice, you have somewhere to hide. Because these people will find you. These people, they don't care. They will do damage to you and to everything you own. So we have to do it. So what we usually advise students is to use pen names and to be as secretive as possible. Use a pen name when you find out about very, very terrible injustice, very terrible corruption, and you want to report it. Be sure that you are using a pen name or a pen fake or a pseudonym or an identity. Or make sure you have British visa like Jafar. When the governor went for him, he ran away to England. If you don't have visa to run away, please be careful. I will advise you. I was in jail several times for being asked. You know ASU? Yes, the master of strike. Yeah. Well, I was part of ASU, and we did a lecture against Nigerian government, against a certain minister who refused to give us our salary. The first no work, no pay minister. So we did a lecture against him, and we were, all of us, the ESCO, were taken to police station and put behind the counter. They said, you are not in jail, you are behind the counter. I said, since I'm not free, I'm in jail. So journalism, we have to expose corruption, but Nambello, those Hausa speakers here, yes. You know Nambello. The boy is comfortably in China, and he has American passport. He was born in America, he has American passport. So he can help us. So if you have story about injustice, pass it to Nambello, pass it to Jafar. They are far away from Nigerian, whatever. But please, my daughter, don't expose yourself too much. Use a pen name. Kada a say the name as a suna. You can sell your name and then you get the name, but you're already dead. but nobody will remember your family because nobody in this country they will go they will do annual lecture for you. Will that translate to Amala for your family? So you I know you understand me. There is no guarantee. Exactly, that is my degree diocese. I have answered your question within the questions I've answered. There is no guarantee of safety in anything you do in this country. Look at this Nupen and Pangasa. God took pity on Nigerians and brought down Kochi refinery. Somebody is sitting there doing nothing, but he wants to collect money for every trucker. For what? Every truck. Just for what? So the 800 people who went on strike in Dangote refinery, he transferred them to sugar refinery. Refinery is refinery. So he took them to sugar refinery. He said, go and join sugar sand instead of Benga sand. Me, my own money, I build something. I want to do unionism for me. Why? $25 billion is helping Africa, not even Nigeria, to protect Nigeria from taking dollar abroad to buy oil. Every country is coming to Dangote to buy oil, but Nigeria is frustrating him. This is the kind of country we have. If these middlemen and these independent marketers would allow things to, petrol can come down to 500 or less according to Dangote. But they will not allow. He said he will take his own fuel with his own trucks and distribute it in Nigeria. Fuel will be cheap. Because our problem in Nigeria is fuel. Because it is part and parcel of our life. It's part and my car, small car, wallahi, it takes equal my salary every month if I want to. And I go to the university 3 times only a week. How about so my whole salary, sometimes more, my car will take it. So that is why petrol is so important in our lives. So if the government does not protect that refinery, we are in soup. Well, it's the same thing. So journalists should not look at Dangote is from Kano, Dangote is capitalist. Yes, he's capitalist, but he put his money where his mouth is. He invested into something that we need in Nigeria, not to talk of Africa. Every white man who is refining oil in Malta is angry with us, with Dangote, for doing the refinery. We are not buying from white people again. But Nigerian journalists, we are fighting. We are not protecting that asset of ours. I have no relationship with Dangote whatsoever, but I know something good if I see it. So it's injustice to say you want to break, then you say Dangote is going to be a monopoly. Who asked you not to do it? Who said that since 30 years NNPC, the families have never worked? Why? Because of the dollars they take to import fuel. That's it. Taking dollars outside. Now there is no reason to take dollars out. And that's why they are crying so angry. So guarantee of safety is the same thing with the industries. Make sure you have passport and small visa inside. At least enter Cameroon holiday or Benin Republic. And remember after the Buhari coup, 1983, there is Usman, that boy from Hadeja. He was in LTA. He was reporting something of Shagari government. And the coup happened and he continued to broadcast. They didn't know there was a coup. And they went to arrest him. The boy put a woman rapper, enter Benin Republic, straight. So my friend, my daughter, Malai, I'm telling you, I know the inside of such office. If you don't, Nigerian politicians and elite, they are wicked. We academics are suffering. You journalists are suffering. The clergy is suffering. Everybody is suffering. We are going to the same market. Kurimi market, Singa market, Kantubari. It's for both Muslims and Christians. When you come to Dubai, they will say, because you are clergy, will reduce for you. Nobody cares. The economy is all suffering victims. So neutrality and impartiality. It is possible but impossible. It is a very difficult thing to be impartial in something which you are involved. I give the example. A Catholic journalist in Ireland, Northern Ireland, a Tutsi journalist in Rwanda, a bureau journalist during crisis between Fulanis and Bureau, or during crisis between farmers and herders. I have a student, a student of mine is the PRO of the International Committee of the Red Cross, Aliyu Dawood. Very articulate Fulani boy. He was my student. And sometimes he says, you see, sometimes he sees what is happening. Because next week, I'm going to Lagos to train journalists like you on humanitarian journalism. That is my area of strength, humanitarian journalism. Trying to show journalists that they are human first. They have to understand that. They have to understand their humanity. So neutrality and impartiality is difficult, but it can be done. It can be done. You have to be very courageous to go higher than the primordial sentiment. It is difficult. It is difficult not to take sides, especially in an institution, in an area whereby you can see there is a clear aggression. For instance, when I am Fulani, my father is Fulani, my father is Hausa. So I'm the actual Hausa Fulani. My mother is Hausa, my father is Fulani. So ethnically I'm Fulani because Nigeria is patrilineal, we are following fathers. I'm culturally Hausa. But if, as I said earlier, if I will write against the Fulani, my own cousins, for being bandits. They are doing bandits. And if they catch me, I'm an economic entity. I'm not a Fulani man at all. They don't care. They are crazy. They have taken drugs. They have gun. So this crisis, we have to understand, it's beyond religion and tribe. It is criminality, and we have to agree to fight it. We have to look at Benue State. This problem only began crisis about land. Fulanis have been in Benue for about 200 years, peacefully living with the thieves. All of a sudden, population pressure increased, and the children and the grandchildren of the owners of the land, they grew up to say, we want our land. Because we are many now, we need our land. The children and grandchildren of the Fulani thought it is their own land. Because they were born there, they born other people there. Why? Why is this crisis? Because government is not serious. Since this is beginning, you have to understand that demand for land will come. The father dies and he leaves a house. In our culture, we all know in Africa, in Christianity, in Islam, heirs, inheritors will get small bit of the inheritance. They also will bequeath that to others. The inheritance will become smaller and smaller and smaller. A big farm in Sumaila, for instance, big farm, the owner of the farm, big man, he has several children. When he dies, it will become small farms. When the son dies, to the grandchildren, another small, there will be conflict. People will have to understand conflict will ensue from that. That is why you take 1 inch of land, there is crisis. That is why Aguleri and Umuleri, both Igbos, the same Anambra, the same Christian, they will fight. Small piece of land, 1 meter, they will kill each other. Government has to understand that. It has to control of land. But they allow poor people to fight. Most of the people who fight have no idea why they are fighting. So neutrality and partiality is possible, but it's unfortunate, it is very difficult to do. So we understand, yes, the elite are united and the poor are disunited. So how do we report? During my answering, you must have heard how I went round and round and round about this kind of reporting. You as a journalist, there is one big newspaper. When he employs people, he tells them, I give you my ID card and you expect me to pay you a salary? Don't say anything. Now you defamation. Come and arrest him. Not from my mouth here. Now for Plato. The man look at you in the face and he said, I give you my ID card and you ask me for salary, meaning go and blaspheme, go and libel, go and slander, go and blackmail anybody and get salary. Can you imagine? There is no ethics. That newspaper should have been closed before saying that. None of those workers were paid a salary. So they will call a press secretary of a governor. They will say, I have scandal news against your government, or else you buy it for 10 million naira so we can get the news. It happens in this country because there are no regulations. No regulations. So regulations are very, very important. We have to institutionalize, as somebody else, Abel mentioned, about peace journalism and institutionalizing. In the university today, you can do a master's in health journalism, you can do a master's in development journalism, you can do a master's in this and that. We are trying to introduce a master's in peace journalism so that journalists who want to specialize in conflict reporting can come and do a master's. All the courses are about peace and conflict and humanitarian journalism. We are asking the international community because health journalism is sponsored by WHO, usually. UNICEF also, they contribute. So ICRC is looking at how to support the university to introduce a master's in peace journalism so that journalists who are interested to take a master's to specialize. We have courses in peace journalism at the undergraduate level. But the best way for journalists, mature journalists, to understand these kind of things is through a master's degree. And that is what we are thinking, to put it as an option for journalists to come and take it. So taking practical steps, Ivan, it is until you have funding. If you have funding, then you can train the teachers. Because even the teachers need to be trained. Not everybody knows this journalism or health journalism or developmental journalism. These are specialized areas which have come up nowadays. So we have to all teach ourselves. And that is why I am specializing in that. I'm reading and reading and reading and learning. So that when that kind of master's begins, at least they will have somebody who is interested to take that. Just Diocese, thank you very much for your comment about identifying terms, about using language. This citizen, so-called citizen journalists, they don't care about language. They write anything. Thank you very much. This one, he understands the piece of this letter. You see? Yes. Human beings work of fuel, and water is of fuel. The car gets petrol, I get water. So there is no training for the rogue journalists. Rogue journalists who go into the internet and do things. Nobody knows them, and nobody is monitoring them. Nigeria should have laws to protect this country. And Nigeria, you don't punish only those who abuse a politician or who do satire against a politician. So usually it is those people who are arrested, not people who are causing trouble for us, fake news, etc., etc. Please, so raise always in prison. It is because he is trampling on the feet of politicians. Our country needs a serious regulation. We need serious. Social media is doing a lot of damage. The use of social media and the disadvantage are 50-50. You can use it for good, you can use it for bad, but our Nigerian youth are using it in bad. Many of them, they think they are doing good for themselves, for what is called trending. Very stupid idea. Trending or monetizing content, and you go into a gutter and bath yourself in gutter and charcoal because you want to trend. This is craziness. That person should be arrested for his own safety and put in jail until he can learn how to wash. You don't allow people to use this word to stupidize themselves. This is stupidity. And but we allow this kind of thing to happen, all in the name of freedom of speech. I don't guarantee freedom after speech. Freedom after speech will not be guaranteed. So bandits, you have to know the difference, as Josh has said. Bandits, terrorists, insurgents, all of them have nomenclatures. You have to understand them. Bandits are those crazy people who have no philosophy but money. Terrorists, like the Boko Haram, they have a philosophy, even if they are criminal as well. But they have a philosophy, they have an ideology they want to achieve. The same thing with the Lord's Resistance Army. Do you know it in Uganda? It's Joseph Kony. Joseph Kony is Boko Haram. Boko Haram, he has destroyed the border between Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo. He's killing everybody in the name of God. The Ten Commandments. That's, you see, you have crazy people everywhere. Do you remember the guy in was it Grenada? Guyana. The church of whatever. He made every congregation to drink poison and die. Thousands of congregation, children, women. That's Boko Haram. We have crazy people everywhere. So law is very, very important. Finally, distinguished participants and gentlemen, I thank you very much for the opportunity given me to speak to you. I have tried to answer the question, but I know throughout your day we will continue to discuss this, and we look forward to meeting again, inshallah, for us to also continue this discussion. Thank you very much. And I hope I will be allowed to depart now. If I sit down, I enjoy too much. Wait. Is lunch ready? No refreshment. 2:30. When I came in, breakfast was happening, and I could see boiled egg and slices of bread. Adam didn't offer it. I thought you are neighbor. You treat your neighbor like yourself. So Adam now, he owes me breakfast and lunch and refreshment.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Very happy, sir. You put your hands together with Dr. Malawi. You can all escort me. What I escort her? So next, we are going to take a keynote address from the Principal Special Assistant to the Governor of Benue State on Media and Content Creation, Honorable Isaac Uzan. Honorable Isaac Uzan, welcome to the podium. Please put your hands together for Honorable Isaac Uzan. Okay. Sorry, sir. Maybe you also wonder what that is. Your attention. So, Honorable Isaac, come and take your. Please, can some of us, a few persons can escort Dr. Bala. We can come back and take our seats as we listen to Honorable Isaac. No, never finished. Revise it, please. I know it's after one, and it's not easy. There is an aroma or a sign of
Thank you very much. Very special afternoon to you all. I first of all want to thank Almighty God for making it possible for us to be here in the name of Campan. It has been a while after COVID-19 shut everything for us because we're actually moving from one state to the other every year. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, everything was put on hold until now. I start. And source of strength for us, but unfortunately, it has made Nigeria a fertile ground for misunderstanding, intolerance, and violent conflict. It therefore means that in order to build a peaceful and well-ordered nation, we must accept to share in one another's faith, hope, affection, thoughts, activities, responsibilities, and even failures. From the introduction of the speech by Dr. here, he said, if we are allowed to stay in this country alone, we will not like it. God is not stupid to have created us tall and short,
fair and black, Muslims and Christians, pagans, Buddhists, atheists. He has a purpose for this. And it's because of our understanding that will bring about all these divisions that we hear and we practice every day. God himself is not a Christian. God himself is not a Muslim. God is not a Yoruba man. God is not a Hausa man. It's not a thief man, it's not a Fulani man. God is God. It's because of our understanding, it's because of some of the things we think are very special to us as humans that will create all these divisions. God is not stupid to have packed all of us together in one nation called Nigeria. We are Nigerians today, not by accident. It is the divine will of God. We need to understand this, and we need to keep to it. We talk about sharing in one another's faith, hope, affection. We have different faiths in the country here, Christians, Muslims. We have traditionalists as well. So some of us were looking for an opportunity to participate even in the activities of the faith that is not ours. If I go to a mosque today, I try to behave like them. In the course of my speech, I will still talk about it. I feel like I'm worshiping God. I feel like I'm worshiping God, but if I find myself in a church that is not Catholic, I'm a traditional Catholic, but even if I'm in a Protestant church, I clap hands and pray like that. If I go to a mosque, I behave like Muslims do. Remove my footwears, try to squat like them and behave like that, deep down within myself. And one thing that is always is that I'm a Nigerian. So I think if we are doing that, it will help us to live together as brothers and sisters and as one in the peace of this society. I say such sharing presupposes honesty with others, a sense of belonging, acceptance, trust, support, and encouragement. The question is, have we been doing this? The answer is no. Then how are we going to start doing this? That is the very essence of what we are here today. Today we are here as professional journalists and renowned media practitioners to see how we can explore the instrument of peace, journalism, and interfaith dialogue to bring sustainable peace and harmony in Nigeria, which is blessed with diverse ethnicities and cultures. Doc has talked about peace here. All of us know what is peace. Peace is the absence of chaos, the absence of conflict. This can be internally within oneself, it can be externally in the society. Thank God we are here in Kano today because there is absolute peace. While I was coming yesterday, I was even afraid because I came through the road and I was even afraid that night will catch up and then some parts of the country now is not even safe for you to travel in the night. But while we were coming here, nothing happened. We were peaceful. That is peace that we're talking about. If there is no peace, there will be no development. We are backward today as a nation because we refuse to live in peace. So, what can we do as journalists, as media practitioners, to bring about this peace? Several questions were asked here. Several answers were given to several of those questions that were asked. But there is something that is very fundamental that Dr. mentioned here, and I want to re-echo it. The concept of humanism. In whatever that we do, we should first understand that we are human beings. And if we acknowledge the right of others to live as well, we appreciate that and we practice it and it will help us. As a media practitioner, what do you do? Some of us are pushed by the quest to survive, and then we damn the consequences. We don't give a damn whether there are ethics there in journalism. Whatever that we see, we push it out there. Technology has helped us a lot. We do all those things, without minding the state of our nation, the peace in our society. Human beings are meant to live together and have a strong desire to live in harmony and in peace with other members of the community. I want to quote here who was talking about the early Christian community, suggests that people of God from individual to individual, from culture to culture, should work hard to form a united and single people on earth. A community of Christians and Muslims, as is the case in Nigeria, sharing and living the truth every day in thought, word, and deed. This is not hard to do. That is what I mentioned here earlier. If we agree to live together, to share the culture of other people, to behave like them. While I was coming yesterday, we stopped over at Kaduna to eat. And the meal that I got there to eat was not the type that I'm so much familiar with. I said to the woman that I'm going to try your meal, and even if I purge on the way, it will help me to remember that a woman like this exists here. And if I don't purge, I will still remember that a woman fed me, so I ate it. I took the beans. While I was eating, I was even breaking this, what do they call it, Campan? Campan was in I love ash. Is that potash? Very good. I love it. I ate it. And after which I said thank you to her. The two guys that were there with me ate rice. The other one ate pepper soup. We appreciated her. None of us will have some. That is how we should be living. That is how we should be living. Journalism, and all of us are journalists here. We are media professionals. We know what journalism is. Then, the ethics of journalism are there. But the challenge we have today, like people were asking questions about, most of you talk about citizen journalism. I want to skip there. That is why I'm not looking inside now. The challenge we have now is the advent of citizen journalism. It is very difficult now to maintain your role as a professional journalist in reportage. Before you will come out reporting what you think is good that will help the society, a citizen journalist has already aired it out. And people are so very quick to believing what they see on social media now, that a lot of people at home now don't have a radio set. Not many of us here care to read what newspaper report every day. Some of us, the only thing we do is turn on our television set, and what we see there is movie. What we see on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram, or TikTok, Telegraph is what we consider as news. And terrible things are happening there. Especially in the world of politics. Let me talk about politics where I am. By virtue of my position now, I am a politician. But the advantage I have is that I am reporting for a Catholic priest who saw the rot in the society and stepped down from the podium to go into politics. So his behaviors, his style of governance, his attitude, and what he does every day is completely not in sync with what career politicians do. So we have the freedom, we have the joy to report him. He has done a lot of things such that we media days do not necessarily need to lie to prove a point. Visible projects are there. So when you want to criticize him, we bring one. When you want to do this, we bring another. Have boys that do this for us, so we don't lie. But for you to survive as a politician or as a media practitioner in the world of politics, honestly, you need to report what your paymaster wants to hear. That is the challenge. I had a boss who gave me an employment to work on his radio station. He was a chieftain of the PDP. While giving us orientation, he told us that, guys, look, my immediate younger brother is the governor of the state. I am a PDP chieftain. So you will report what will not cause an injury to the character of my brother and my party. That was the mandate. For you to work in such an environment, you have to do what your boss wants you to do. That is the challenge we have now as media practitioners. In the world of politics, for you to get money, you need to tell lies to satisfy the person that hired you to do that work for them. Take for instance, I am a representative of my constituency. I've not been doing anything. So when you come home, I come and talk to one person, maybe give you 50,000, and then the media aid will write that I have given more than, they are not always specific with the numbers, 200 people scholarship. But you will not even hear the name of one person. So this is the problem for us. The other of journalism must not just like Doctor said here. Let me show you what happened in my state. I'm from Benue State. So the first water attack, when it happened, professional journalists were trying to mellow down the tempo, trying to play down the numbers, so that it will not generate a lot of heat in the society. Citizen journalists in the villages close to Yelwata who had Android phone went there, were snapping all these garish pictures and bringing them out. Sometimes you walk up and you see garish pictures on Facebook. So how would you as a professional journalist come to tell the people outside that one person was killed when the citizen journalist who is at the scene had already published 20 bodies? How will you come and reconcile that? So that is the challenge we have. But there is one thing, because we are journalists practicing in the confines of a faith called Christianity and Muslim. If you are an Islam, if you are a Christian journalist, like we are here, Catholic media practitioners, if you are a journalist and you are a Muslim, your faith should at least hold you back to the extent to which you can. Like, my faith tells me that it's not good to lie. So if I am reporting, is it necessary for me to lie to prove a point? If I'm not lying, then I am doing what pleases God, and I'm keeping to the ethics of my profession. So I think we have a mandate as reporters in a particular faith to prove a point without necessarily being sensational about it. Let me skip here and I'll talk about interfaith dialogue. When we are talking about interfaith dialogue in a divided society, ordinarily we mean different people of different faith coming together to reason about what constitutes their major problem. Here in Nigeria, division, bigotry, banditry, sectionalism, kidnappers, we have this problem with us. How can we solve this as people of different faith? Now, talking about this now, if we decide to talk about it today, in this hall that we are represented here, Christians and Muslims, if we decide to talk about it here, we cannot just finish it. We are trying to address the leaves leaving the root. So even if we address the leaves, the problem will still shoot out. So we have to start from somewhere. And then I outline some of the things here. I talk about action and service. We need to collectively, regardless of our faith, each reach out to help those in need. Visit the sick together, clean the neighborhood together, and can we come together to do that? Can we take action together like that? Like today, have you ever seen? I had a privilege to stay in Sokoto for 1 year and some months. And I would always go to the Sultan Palace. It would have been lovely to see a Christian who will always be there sweeping and weeding the palace to keep it neat. But you will not see more. Can you ever see a Muslim who will be in the house of the bishop in Kano here, weeding and sweeping, willingly, freely out of charity, without being hired? Even if you are hired, there are some that will tell you no, because I'm a Christian, I cannot go and be doing that in the palace of the Sultan of Sokoto, or I'm a Muslim, I cannot be doing that in the palace or in the bishop court. But once we start living like that, honestly, the peace we are talking about, there are these two persons. One is an imam, one is a pastor. I hope all of them are from Kaduna. You always see them talking on television, talking about the problem of Nigeria. They are very good friends. I had a privilege of listening to their stories, but they were staunch enemies. But they are friends now. Very good friends. Sometimes you even see them on BBC, you see them on Al Jazeera, you see them because they have been doing that. How many of us have been listening to them, and how many of us even think to follow them? I was afraid in Sokoto when a brother from Kogi, a Muslim, told me that he wants to be staying in a room with me. I said, guy, you stay with me. He was just very friendly, talking to me. I said, no, just stay. But when I went to school, I was teaching in Capital Secondary School, Audeport. When I went there and I related the story, I said, are you okay? What will you accommodate him? Don't you know these people are the people? I said, please, allow me. And do you know what happened? If I tell you the major hit that guy gave me, he was so very, very instrumental in the success I recorded in Sokoto. And up to today, we are friends. So we need to build that type of synergy and relationship. Holy books. How many of us go to classes to study Quran as Christians? How many of us will even go to study Bible as Muslims? If we are studying it, we are studying it with the intention to go and argue somewhere. We are not studying it to understand the faith and practice it and live together with our fellow brothers and sisters. Doctrine is the same thing. How many of us will agree to the doctrine of Islam as Christians? Friendship, how many of us will make friends with them? Marriage is the worst thing. How many of us will allow, okay, just go today, you are my sister Maria, go and marry this Muslim? How many of them will say that, okay, you are my daughter, American, go and marry this Christian? That's the problem we have in Nigeria. We are together, we are a nation. And if we are not practicing this thing, it will not help us. So it is also important to remember to listen to what the other has to say about their faith. Be patient to listen to them. Avoid stereotype and overgeneralization. Be investigative and report only the truth as a journalist. Trust and respect are very fundamental. Trust one another, respect their faith, it will help you. Now acknowledge the uniqueness and celebrate points of similarity and contrast between faith. It is there, all of you can read it. Let me rush to conclusion. Peace, journalism, and interfaith dialogue remain essential for building a stable and united Nigeria. While challenges persist, ranging from biased reporting to political manipulation, these can be overcome through deliberate education, responsible media practice, and continued interfaith engagement. When journalists report to heal rather than divide, and where religious leaders preach understanding rather than dominance, Nigeria can move closer to realizing its destiny as a beacon of unity and diversity in Africa. The words of St. John Paul II at the concluding session of World Day of Prayer for Peace at Assisi resounds today. Either we learn to work together in peace and harmony, or drift apart and ruin ourselves and others. So then, let us always be seeking the ways which lead to peace and the ways in which we can support one another. You can get that in Romans chapter 14, verse 19. Thank you so very much for being patient to listen to this. And thank you. We hope that as we go out here, even as we depart after this conference, we'll continue to practice what we've heard here. I believe that it is possible for us to live together in peace and unity for the progress of our societies. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Please put your hands together for recognizing. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate one and all for your patience. I've actually learned a lot from this particular conference. I am not a member of the Social Communication Department. I work for JDPC, the Humanitarian Department of the Church. And I must tell you that when it comes to peace building, we are at the forefront. We have done a lot of work in Kano and Jigawa State. So mobilizing people for peace building, for me, is something that is pragmatic. It's practical. So as for JDPC, those that know our work will tell you what we do in JDPC. So thank you very much. Peace journalism. Yes, very, very important. But my fear, I would have done this peace journalism. But the way they kill journalists in the forefront. Aid workers is not much. But the way you go to Gaza, the way they finish them in Gaza, what is it? Well, what do we do? You need to sacrifice your life for humanity. You don't have a choice. Well, I keep on telling people, they will say, America, Britain, France, this. Yes, America is America because people lay down their life for America. People lay down their life for France. People lay down their life for China. They lay down their life. So we'll call on our sister, Sister Fulera Isiaka, just a few minutes for her to give us a keynote address for our organization, Center for Human Rights. Come and conclude, please. When you're hungry, you're scared.
Distinguished organizers of this program and other participants here present. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Fulera Isiaka, and I am from the Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, Crisis. So on behalf of my Executive Director, Comrade Dr. Ibrahim M. Zikirullahi, I want to appreciate the organizers of this program for giving us an opportunity to reflect on these issues. We all know Nigeria is very diverse, and most times this diversity is used to bring about more divisions among us. So in times like this, the voices of journalists, religious leaders, and those in the civil society is very, very important. So as journalists, let us remember that every story that we tell has the power to heal or to harm. So when we report with empathy and fairness, we help people to understand one another. But when we amplify misinformation and hate, we deepen wounds that already exist. So dialogues like this should remind us that peace is not the absence of differences. It is the presence of respect. we may not believe in the same thing, but we can still work for the same good, which is justice, compassion, and humanity. So as Christ said, we have seen that peace cannot survive without justice, and justice cannot thrive without inclusion. And that is why our slogan remains, fighting for justice to guarantee peace. So let us continue to use our voices in the newsroom, in our mosques, in our churches, and in our communities to build understanding, not suspicion. So if we commit to that, peace will not just be a dream, it will be a shared reality. Thank you very much.
Please put your hands together for this program. I must tell you that the CEO of Christside, Ambassador Ibrahim Zikrullah, is in the front border and in the forefront of fighting for peace in this country. For those of us I don't know if he's not around. So she's the competition officer. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you for your time. I know some of us who are getting exhausted. If you look the other way around, you see that the meal is ready. But before then, our brother Honorable Isaac gave a keynote address, and I know we listened attentively to his keynote address. If you have a question around his address, you can just ask. If you don't have time, then I'll ask the chairman to direct me on what next to do. Chairman, please. My brother Oshoki. Yeah, it seems there's no question.
With no further question, we're going to stretch our feet, and then as far as lunch is ready, I can see food behind us. I don't know whether it's lunch. So lunch is also with 2 p.m. and we have 5 minutes to 2 p.m. Let us use that 5 minutes to stretch our legs, get up from the seat, interact, and then when they're ready for us, we'll have lunch. Thank you very much. Okay, after this lunch, we are going to go and refresh, and then we'll reconvene later for something in the evening. There's prayers in the evening, only those that understand that will attend that prayer.
There will be AGR. After lunch, we will have our AGR. Then we can go home and rest, and then come back by 7:30 for our gala night.
So now prayer, please. If you want to go and join the prayer, come.
You please can go and rest after lunch. You may not be part of our AGR, unless you want to be part of it. What is that AGR? Annual General Meeting.
Please, can we all rise to bless the meal before our president goes? Can we rise, please? Father, bless the meal.
The Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Bless us, O Lord, that this your gift which we are about to receive from your goodness through Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Chop, Christ our Lord.
you.